TIL that Key West had a fire chief named Bum Farto that was convicted of drug trafficking and disappeared before his sentencing, never to be seen again. I just had to research it. I guess the last name gassed out after a bit. Sorry. According to the search results I found, the Farto surname is most commonly found in the United States and Canada between 1911 and 1920. In 1920 there were 2 Farto families living in Florida. This was about 67 of all the recorded Fartos in USA. Florida had the highest population of Farto families in 1920. The name is not very common and is ranked as the 4 millionth most common surname in the world. Lived in Key West in the late 70s early 80s, used to see a lot of t-shirts with the caption "Where's Bum Farto?" Hope he escaped and lived his life out incognito, but some of the locals I knew thought he was silenced. Either way, makes for some good folklore. Not only that, but his sister Maria Farto was friends with Isabel DePoo. Isabel was related to Dr. Julio DePoo, who Bum Farto likely met on occasion. Dr. DePoo was also friends with Fidel Castro. Oddly enough, my first cousin retired as the fire chief of Key West a couple decades later. No relation to Chief Farto. Key West is chock full of weird, odd, and unique characters and stories. The average person today can be rejected in a job interview for not having wide enough margins on their resume, while this guy walks right into an important job. What's so funny about Bum Farto? It's a joke name, sir. I have a very good friend in Key West named Bum Farto. Stifled laughter. Silence. Got away after changing his name. Cops looking for him were convinced he'd never change his name, cause that's the first thing they'd expect him to do. 1976? That could easily have been Escobar or the Cali cartel cleaning up a loose end. Or 1976? Take that dollar and disappear. Way easier back then. I want a name that will sing to the heavens, "Hey schoolyard bully, make my life a living hell for the next 17 years for my son." There's a professor in Bangladesh who is a leading researcher in the field of human waste management named Anil Dixit. I'm a Brit and the wife and I are dying of laughter that the American version would be Fanny Farto LMFAO. You find the name Bum Farto amusing? He is an associate of my good friend from Rome, Bigus Dickus. My neighbor's name is Ass Gaseous. Don't think Bum Farto just changed his name, do you? Lots of people from Key West convicted of anything disappear daily. Must be the Gators. Shit, accidentally put a C instead of a B when I googled his name. Would not recommend. Disappeared into not so thin air. Assuming air from a fart is thicker than regular air. To be fair, I'd run into burning buildings and do drugs if I had a name like that. I read that is Kanye West and was confused why he needed a personal fire chief. Course, he changed his name before he joined the army. Used to be Gloop Shido. Oh lord, it's a miracle the man up and disappeared like a fart in the wind. I eagerly await the film adaptation, Conch Republic: The Ballad of Bum Farto. God bless Southern Florida, still Florida man, but yet somehow dignified. With a name like that he could be a regular at the Mos Eisley Tavern. It's a joke name, sir, like Bigus Dickus or Silliest Sodus. Just like a Bum Farto, new superpowers unlocked. A Bum Farto, crying face, smiley face. Probably living under an alias. Check for an ass blasto out there. For some reason I read that as Kanye West and was hella confused, so Bum Farto was gone like the wind. Hope I've got that right. Excuse me sir, but do you have a mint? Perhaps some Manaka? Bum Farto sounds like a stooge that only existed on paper. Bum Farto sounds like a name Bart Simpson would make up. Does anybody else see Richard Nixon in the first photo? This story stinks. I hope they get to the bottom of it. That's really serious and awful and even sad, but lol. I read it as Kanye West at first and got very confused. Sounds like a name from Dick Tracy. Like B.O. Plenty.